There is no specific wattage limit for electric floor heating systems used as radiant heat. However, the wattage should be appropriate for the size and conditions of the room. A higher wattage may not be necessary or desirable for achieving comfortable floor temperatures. Cutting and splicing the wiring will indeed increase the wattage of the system. While 17 watts per square foot is still within a reasonable range for radiant floor heating, it's important to consider the potential impact on the system's performance and energy consumption. Splicing the wires can introduce potential failure points in the system. Improper splicing techniques or poorly sealed splices can lead to electrical hazards or system malfunction. It's crucial that the splicing is done by a qualified electrician who follows best practices. Reburying the spliced wires in concrete may pose additional challenges. The concrete may need to be cut or chiseled to accommodate the wires, which could damage the existing tile or subfloor. Additionally, the splice connections must be properly encapsulated to prevent moisture ingress and ensure safety. The proposed remedy involves significant labor and costs. Excavating, cutting, splicing, reburial, and retiling can be time-consuming and expensive. Instead of the proposed remedy, consider the following alternatives. Firstly, revise the cabinet design to avoid the areas where the heating wires are located. This may involve moving the cabinet slightly or using different cabinet configurations. Secondly, add a separate heating element, such as a baseboard heater or space heater, to supplement the floor heating system in areas where cabinets prevent the installation of heating wires. Thirdly, obtain professional advice from a certified electrician who specializes in radiant floor heating systems. They can assess the situation and recommend the best solution based on your specific requirements. While the contractor's proposed remedy may address the issue of wires under the cabinets, it introduces potential risks and concerns, including increased wattage, splicing issues, and reburying challenges. Explore alternative options to find a safer and more effective solution. Let's delve deeper into each of these points. When considering the wattage of your electric floor heating system, it's not simply about finding the highest possible number. The goal is to achieve a comfortable floor temperature without excessive energy consumption. Factors such as the room size, insulation levels, and the desired floor temperature all play a role in determining the appropriate wattage. A larger room with poor insulation will naturally require a high wattage system compared to a smaller, well-insulated room. Furthermore, the type of flooring material can also influence the required wattage. Tile, for example, tends to be colder than other materials like wood or carpet, and may therefore require a slightly higher wattage to achieve the same level of warmth. It's also important to consider the thermostat settings and how the system will be used. If a system is intended to provide primary heating for the room, it will need a higher wattage than if it's simply used to take the chill off the floor. Regarding the contractor's proposed solution of cutting and splicing the wires, there are several potential problems. Firstly, as mentioned earlier, cutting the wire will reduce the overall resistance of the heating circuit, leading to an increase in wattage. This increase, while seemingly small, only a couple of watts per square foot, could potentially overload the system or cause uneven heating. Secondly, splicing the wires introduces potential points of failure. Electrical splices are inherently weaker than continuous wires and are most susceptible to corrosion, moisture damage, and mechanical stress. If the splices are not done correctly, they can become loose, overheat, or even create a fire hazard. The National Electrical Code, specifically Article 300.15, provides detailed requirements for making electrical splices. It's crucial that the electrician follows these guidelines to ensure a safe and reliable connection. This includes using appropriate connectors, properly insulating the splices, and protecting them from mechanical damage. Thirdly, reburying the spliced wires in concrete presents additional challenges. Concrete is a porous material and can absorb moisture over time. If the splice connections are not properly encapsulated, moisture can seep into the connections and cause corrosion. This corrosion can lead to increased resistance, overheating, and eventual failure of the system. Furthermore, the process of cutting and chiseling the concrete to accommodate the wires can potentially damage the existing tile or subfloor. This damage can be costly to repair and may compromise the structural integrity of the floor. Given these concerns, it's important to explore alternative solutions. One option is to redesign the cabinet placement to avoid the areas where the heating wires are located. This may involve moving the cabinet slightly or using a different cabinet configuration. For example, instead of a full-height cabinet, you could use a shorter cabinet with a toe kick space underneath, allowing the heating wires to run underneath the cabinet without being covered. Another option is to install supplementary heating in the areas where the cabinets prevent the installation of heating wires. This could involve adding a baseboard heater, a space heater, or even a small radiant panel heater. These supplementary heating devices can provide additional warmth in those areas, ensuring a consistent and comfortable temperature throughout the room. Ultimately, the best solution will depend on the specific circumstances of your situation. It's important to consult with a qualified electrician who specializes in radiant floor heating systems to assess the situation and recommend the most appropriate course of action. A qualified electrician will be able to evaluate the existing system, identify any potential problems, and recommend solutions that are safe, effective, and code compliant. When choosing an electrician, be sure to ask about their experience with radiant floor heating systems and their knowledge of the National Electrical Code. You should also ask for references from previous clients and check their online reviews. Furthermore, it's essential to ensure that the electrician is properly licensed and insured. This will protect you in the event of any accidents or damages during the repair process. In addition to the technical aspects of the repair, it's also important to consider the aesthetic impact. The proposed remedy of cutting and splicing the wires could potentially leave visible seams or imperfections in the tile floor. This may be unacceptable, especially if you have invested in high-quality tile. The alternative solutions, such as redesigning the cabinet placement or installing supplementary heating, may be more aesthetically pleasing and less disruptive to the overall design of the room. Ultimately, the decision of which solution to pursue is yours. However, it's important to weigh the risks and benefits of each option carefully and to make an informed decision based on your specific needs and preferences. To further elaborate on the potential problems of the proposed remedy, consider the long-term implications of splicing the wires. Over time, the splices may become corroded, loose, or damaged due to temperature fluctuations, moisture exposure, or mechanical stress. This can lead to a gradual decrease in the system's performance and efficiency. Eventually, the splices may fail completely, requiring costly repairs or even replacement of the entire heating system. In contrast, the alternative solutions, such as redesigning the cabinet placement or installing supplementary heating, are generally more reliable and durable. These solutions avoid the potential problems associated with splicing and are less likely to require future repairs. Furthermore, the alternative solutions may be more energy efficient. By supplementing the floor heating system with a separate heating element, you can potentially reduce the overall energy consumption of the system. This is because the supplementary heating element can be used to provide targeted warmth in specific areas, rather than heating the entire floor. To ensure that the repair is done correctly, it's important to obtain a detailed written estimate from the electrician. This estimate should include a breakdown of all costs, including labor, materials, and any necessary permits. The estimate should also specify the scope of work, including the steps that will be taken to repair the system and the timeline for completion. Before approving the estimate, be sure to review it carefully and ask any questions you may have. It's also a good idea to obtain multiple estimates from different electricians to compare prices and services. This will help you ensure that you are getting a fair price and that you are choosing the best electrician for the job. In addition to the estimate, you should also obtain a written warranty from the electrician. This warranty should cover both the labor and the materials used in the repair. The warranty should also specify the duration of coverage and the process for filing a claim. Before approving the warranty, be sure to review it carefully and ask any questions you may have. It's also a good idea to keep a copy of the warranty in a safe place for future reference. Furthermore, it's important to be aware of the potential risks associated with working with electricity. Electricity is a powerful force that can be dangerous if not handled properly. It's essential to take precautions to protect yourself from electric shock, burns, and other injuries. Before starting any electrical work, be sure to turn off the power to the circuit at the breaker box. You should also use insulated tools and wear rubber gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. In addition to the safety risks, it's also important to be aware of the potential code violations associated with electrical work. The National Electrical Code sets forth detailed requirements for electrical installations, including wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection. It's essential to comply with the National Electrical Code to ensure that the electrical system is safe and reliable. Failure to comply with the National Electrical Code can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. Therefore, it's important to hire a qualified electrician who is familiar with the National Electrical Code and who will ensure that the electrical work is done in compliance with all applicable regulations. To further minimize the risk of problems with the electrical floor heating system, it's important to perform regular maintenance. This includes inspecting the system for any signs of damage, such as cracks, leaks, or loose connections. You should also clean the system regularly to remove any dust, dirt, or debris. If you notice any problems with the system, it's important to have them repaired promptly by a qualified electrician. By performing regular maintenance, you can extend the life of the system and prevent costly repairs. Finally, it's important to keep accurate records of all work done on the electrical floor heating system. This includes the date of installation, the name of the electrician who performed the work, and any repairs or maintenance that have been performed. These records can be helpful in the event of any future problems with the system. They can also be useful for insurance purposes. By keeping accurate records, you can ensure that the electrical floor heating system is properly maintained and that any problems are addressed promptly. In summary, while the contractor's proposed remedy may seem like a quick and easy solution, it introduces several potential risks and concerns. It's important to explore alternative options to find a safer and more effective solution. Consulting with a qualified electrician who specializes in radiant floor heating systems is essential to ensuring that the repair is done correctly and that the electrical system is safe and reliable. By taking these precautions, you can enjoy the benefits of electric floor heating without the risks.